Today I'm going to explain to you the basics on creating a label in Velocity and what some of the fields mean and how to add them and new things onto the label. So if you open a mixed business, username admin, password service1 with a capital S. First thing you want to do is merge the data from the scale to avoid the risk of sending old data to the scale. This can be found in another video on the channel. So once you've merged the data and reset the change flags, what you want to do is click this button here, which is the label button. Click Manage Designs. So what's usually best is if you're creating a new label, usually it's the easiest way to make a new one is to get your current one, for example this one, right click and click copy, and then give it a new name and click OK. So the reason for this is it will carry over the dimensions of your label, which are all correct, and you'll be able to make changes only where needed, and everything else you can leave. If you're creating a new label, you want to click on the labels button, create new design, and click on the type there and give it a name. The stationery is what the dimensions are, so the length and width. It gives you a selection to choose from, but if you've got a new one that's not on here and it's just not there, click the plus and click new, and you can then give it a name, stationery name, and put in the exact dimensions, so width, height, things like that, and if it's continuous or not. So in this case, we're just going to choose the usual, which is 59mm by 100. Click OK. What that will do is it will create a blank label for you there. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go onto one that I've already created, so it's all set out so you can see. So if we double click on this one, okay, so I'll just explain to you what some of the fields mean. So this is the logo. I've covered in another video how to upload the image for this logo, because this is obviously just the field for it. Now to get all of these fields, they're all in the top left here in the available fields. So the logo, this field here is under logos and it's referenced logo. So what you do is, same with any field, you'll click and drag it onto the label itself and then position it however you want. And the reference here is where you'll choose the media logo that you've uploaded. I called mine demo logo. Once you choose it, it will show there. So I'll just get rid of that because we've already got it there. You put that wherever you want. Obviously just line it up so it's all neatly set out. So the next one that's used the most is PLU text 1. To find this, expand PLU text, and again click and drag and that will pull the information on the name of the product into the label there. So you always want to give that a bigger font height. So the height is the actual size, and you'll always want to make that slightly bigger than everything else because it's the name of the product. Just to explain some of these fields on the left hand side, which are quite helpful. You've got the font, the size, in the MX Business it's called height, and some self-explanatory things like bold, italics, underline. You've got something called variable length. In this case we've got shrink text to fit, and what that will do is if there's too much text to fit into the field, it will just lower the size of the font to fit it all in. Show border, whether we want a border around it. The alignment, so if it's going to be on the left, right, bottom center, top center, completely up to you. We've got word wrap, same as Microsoft Word, and the data type. So the data type, what that means is it's either label defined or data defined. Label defined means the formatting of the field is defined here. The name, the PLU text 1, which as I said is usually the name, tends to have label defined format, and that's because you'll always have the exact same size, bold, all the same properties. Something you'd have data defined on would be this PLU text 2. So just to explain what this is usually used for is the ingredients, and I'll get some more in that detail in a second, but PLU text 2 is the ingredients, which means you'll always have words that are bold in velocity, and stuff like that, and for that reason you'll want to have data defined. So just to explain further, in velocity, if we go to product and edit it, so as you can see, if I just get that so you can see, if I edit that product. So as I was saying, PLU text 1 relates to text area 1 of velocity, and as you can see, that's the name. Text area 2 on MX Business is PLU text 2. In velocity it's text area 2. So as I was saying about the data defined formatting, as you can see here, we've got certain things that are bold, like the allergens, and for that reason you will almost always want to have data defined formatting on PLU text 2. If you didn't, then what would happen is you'd get all this information, but it wouldn't bold the necessary allergens as it has in here, because obviously it's using its own format, its own defined formatting. And I'll explain more further in a minute, but the majority of these fields you can see here are on these available fields in MX Business. It all correlates together. So just to explain them a bit more, like used by, there is just a message. So one of the things that helps is when you click on a field and you click label fields here, it will highlight what type of field it is. So we already know this is PLU text 1, PLU text 2. This is just a message, a referenced message to say used by. And then underneath we'll have the use by date, which is date 1. To show you what that is in velocity, that is this date offset here. So this is saying use the date 6 days ahead. So this will put the date 6 days ahead, whatever that may be. Now we've got price, self-explanatory. We've got the quantity. So the quantity is under here. You've got total quantity price, unit price. So the quantity will be the weight, basically. Or if it's a non-weight item, it will be the amount. And you'll see that when you print off the label. So we've got total price, trace panel, traceability information, that's all found under traceability here. Trace panel, that's what's most commonly used to put the traceability information on. And we've got a generic field at the bottom here. Generic fields can be used just to type in a message, whatever you want. So that's pretty much how the labels work. So they're basically all just fields which are found in here, and the properties underneath for them, and that's it really. So once you've got all your fields on there, you want to make sure they're all lined up to fit on neatly and professionally. I forgot to mention we've got a barcode field here, which is a really big one. That's just found in barcodes there. Oops. Barcodes. Barcode. So once you're happy with the label, you just want to click save. Click yes. And now it's ready to send to the scale. So to send it to scale, you just want to click send changes, which is this button here underneath options. At the moment, I myself, I don't have a physical scale linked, so I can't show you it's sending the changes. But all you do is click send changes and it's now updated on the scale. At this point, the best thing to do is just print one off from the scale and see how that looks. Sometimes it might be slightly different to the design in terms of in a situation where, like, let's say the label roll hasn't been pushed in all the way, it might be a few millimeters to the left or right. Anything that seems slightly, and all you need to do is click save and send changes, and that's it. Now, say this was a label that's already assigned to the products, then you won't need to do anything. Let's say you need to assign this new label to products. What you would do is go to product editor and then just double click on the product, and you'll just choose the drop down in there and choose the label there. Also, if you want to make it your main label, click Network Center, right click, click Edit Machine Configuration, go to Labeling and Receipt, and you can change the default main label just there. Usually you almost never have to do this, you just need to assign it to all the products necessary. And that's it on how to edit and make a new label.